I'd like to call the Hull Redevelopment Authority meeting of March 30th, 2026 to order. My name is Bart Kelly. I'm the chairman of the board of the Redevelopment Authority. To my left is Dan Kernan and Adrian Paquin. To my right is Mark Hammond, who's our operations manager. To the right of Mark is Charlie Richardson. To the right of Charlie is John Senator. We have concession vendor bid openings. I think a lot of you people are here for that tonight. The first thing on the agenda, though, is applications for gazebo licenses or requests for service. Do we have any of those, Mark?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I didn't see them.
We haven't got any of those, so we're going to go right to the concession vendor bid opening.
Right.
It appears that we have 8 applications.
Yes, I think so. 26. I'm just putting them in chronological order. So let's take a second. All right, so the way that this process will work is we open all of the bids in the order in which they were received, and there should be 6 copies of the application for vendor space. We'll distribute those applications to all the members of HRA. We'll review them to make sure that the applications are responsive, which means complete and inclusive of all of the information that HRA requires as part of the RFP process. And then we'll also verify that there is a check included with the application that is equal to the amount of the bid. And so on our worksheet, we'll identify the applicant's name, the date and time received, whether it was a responsive application, the bid amount, and there are 2 other elements that applicants may or may not have included: a certificate of insurance or a security deposit. We did not clearly indicate that those needed to be included, so if they're not, that's not necessarily a problem. But what that means is if the application is approved, it will be a conditional approval subject to the submission of a certificate of insurance and the security deposit. So if an applicant has provided all of that information, then the application will be complete and fully approved by HRA. Once all of those applications have been opened, we'll look to see the rank in terms of highest bid, second highest bid, and so on. And on that basis, the highest bid gets first choice of a vendor space, second highest bid gets second choice, and so on. And we've got 6 spaces available. So we have more applications than there are spaces, but we'll just see how it goes in terms of whether the applications are responsive and what the bid may be. So are we ready to start? And we can distribute these.
All right. While we're doing this, did anybody have any questions about this process based on what Mark said? Good.
And this first applicant is Northeast Surfing. I'll have the application form, and I can verify that there's a treasurer's check in the amount of $3,110. And then we'll review the application to make sure that it's responsible. It was received March 10th at 11:50 a.m. And there is a certificate of insurance included. And no security deposit, but we didn't require it. The security deposit will be paid by people awarded a vendor space. Are there any questions or uncertainties about whether this is a responsive application? All right. So the next application was received on March 23rd at 4:55 p.m. I believe this application is from Karen LaFond, Respiro Wellness, Respiro Sauna Company. And the bid amount is $1,805.01, 180501. There is a certificate of insurance, as well as other permits and licenses. Any questions?
I just have a curiosity question. This is Karen, right? Hi, thank you for being here. What is the orientation that you're planning for this? Like, which side is the beach?
The beach side is on the bottom of the buffer, yes, so it's the sunrise.
Oh, thank you.
And was this the same unit that was used in collaboration with the Whole Life Saving Museum last weekend, or was that something different?
No, I didn't see that.
There was some,
Did they
there
have
was
a
a
sauna?
portable sauna down, and I didn't know who that was.
Well, I'm not here today, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
Or maybe they are, and I don't know. Surprise.
It looks,
No.
physically it looks similar.
It's probably most, like, there's a couple, there's one in Marchdale, there's one in Cape Cod, there's about 4 or 5 in Rhode Island. So they could have done 2 in Connecticut. Small community, but growing. And select lucky beaches. It's a small footprint.
Yeah. No, I like your plans for chairs and a storage pod, but thanks for laying out and showing us what it would look like.
March 24th, 2026, at 10:17 a.m. Cindy Shea, MJ's, doing business as MJ's. There is a bid of $1,200. A very cool photograph. And there is a certificate of insurance. Any questions or concerns? Seems like it's a responsive. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get these in precise. Sometimes it's just a difference of a few minutes. All right. This is too far. And so there's two functional. Yeah. So this is Ash Pizza Incorporated, doing business as Boston Lobster and Seafood. It is $2,010, $2,010. And that arrives March 25th at 12:15.
operating hours full-time.
Right, so the parking lot has operating hours, but the vendors do not. Yeah.
Just one thing I do want to call out, I'm seeing our old address on this one. I actually will have to go back and check the others.
Okay.
You just want that corrected on the certificate of insurance, whichever.
Yes, yes. So there may be an incorrect address for the HRA on the certificate of insurance, and that's just something that can be cured
Yeah.
through the insurance agency. I believe that's a responsive application.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next one was received at March 25th at 12:55. And this is a coastal UV. I don't think there's a, I mean, there might be a bid on the application, but there's not a check in place. And so HRA will need to decide how to handle that. Yeah, I don't see a bid. Yeah. So. Yeah, so this is a non-responsive application, unfortunately.
Can you guys hear?
Mark was just saying this is a non-responsive application.
Thank you.
I'll try to speak up. All right, this one arrived March 26th at 1:21 p.m. And this is from Atlantic Hill Market. There's some blank sheets. And the bid is at $2,001. 2001.
You guys have to look at it, right?
Right, there's not a, so there's not an insurance certificate. Yes. No. So if, yes, it's conditionally responsive. March 26, 2026, 1:22 p.m., 1 minute later.
Wow.
This is snack buoy. The bid is $1,050. There's not a certificate of insurance included, which would mean that it would be conditionally responsive, subject to providing proof of insurance, certificate of insurance with Hull Redevelopment Authority named as additional insured. All right. Last but not least, March 26th, 2:15. This is Ellie's Treats. Staples. The next RFP is staple paperclip. That's it. And so this is Ellie's Treats LLC. The bid is $1,100. There is a certificate. Condition of response. Does that seem responsive to you? So by my reckoning, Northeast Surfing, I'll do the full rank order and then we'll ask people to choose the vendor space that they're interested in.
Can you speak
So
louder?
Yes, Northeast Surfing has the highest bid, $3,110. Boston Lobster has the second highest bid at $2,010. Atlantic Hill Market has the third highest bid at $2,001. Respiro Wellness Sauna has the fourth highest bid at $1,805. Cindy Shea MJ's has the fifth highest at $1,200. And Ellie's Treats LLC has the sixth highest at $1,100. And so we had 8 applications, 4 of them fully responsive, 1 non-responsive, 3 conditionally responsive, requiring certificate of insurance. And that's the right order. Did everyone else come up with the same?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So based on the map of the vendor spaces, the 6 vendor spaces, Northeast Surfing.
Wait, sorry, Mark.
Yes.
As far as I could see, the map that was in the application was an old map that was showing 8 spaces. Is there another map we're supposed to be looking at?
I was looking at, we have a map.
I'm actually seeing 9 spaces on this map.
It's 6 spaces, but it's short-term parking and handicap.
Okay.
So it's just the blue.
Oh, I see. I see.
3 blues in Lot A and 3 blues in
Thank you.
Lot
Let
B.
me try to find a version where it's clear.
Sorry.
No.
Black and white version, you can color it.
Yeah,
Sorry, my apologies.
the color version.
Northeast Surfing has it.
Northeast Surfing.
Okay, so it looks like by looking at the map, we're gonna take 3. This is the one we've had every year. So I believe that's 3.
Lot number 3 is in Fifth Street.
Yeah, where we've been, that's the same spot we've been for the last 10 years?
Right, and so that's at the corner of that lot.
Yeah, with the telephone pole laying down.
So if you're looking at it from Shore Drive Extension, it'd be the one on the left.
Yeah, right behind the red house.
So, yes.
They changed the numbers on it, so that's what makes
Yeah, so space number 3. So
Yeah, it
it's
looks
that,
like
it's
three.
that one right at the corner. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think this one's actually easier, this color one. We just can't see the numbers very well.
Boston Lobster.
Northeast Surfing.
You need the map?
So,
Somebody showing.
So it would be number 6, the first one, when you're going down to
In Lot B.
the very first one.
Yeah, the very first one, yeah. So that one.
Okay.
Wait, did you choose number 3?
I did that very correct.
Sorry, Mark, I want to make sure, looking at this map, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Great,
6.
just checking, thank you.
So space number is 6 for bus.
So it's, yeah, the very first one.
Yes.
First one.
When you say the first one, let's be clear, we're saying that as you're coming into town?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's also labeled as number 6, so.
Yeah, it is, the number is on, it's very small. All right, Atlantic Hill Market. Is Atlantic Hill Market here? Cush Corporation?
He's not in, I don't see.
Okay.
Should I
So
see
how
what
do
they
we-
did last year, or what do we do?
So he's not here to pick.
Yeah.
So he gets,
He'll
he'll get the last, yeah.
Last choices.
Unless you want me to call him, but I don't know if that's.
Well, my friend.
Is that a requirement?
So he'll get the last one, so
You want, is this, you want 4? Yes, that's gonna be right in front of you.
yes, so you want number 4.
Yes, and then I have a trailer though, my question would be to access, can I like loop around and like pull into it, or like will 5
Yes.
be blocking?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so you
Yeah.
you can fall into this space
I
and
pull
then.
in and then-
Yeah.
4, yeah, trailer. 4
Yes.
is.
Thank you.
All right, space number. Okay.
I will say that in our, all proposers must be present or have a representative present.
Okay, so you think that would disqualify? I mean, the
It even says,
RFP.
if the proposal, actually, we should have done this earlier, if the proposer or representative is not present, the proposal will not be considered.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then it's not responsible.
that's not
Not
responsible.
responsible. Just last call, no one here from Atlantic Hill Market, Cush Corporation, no?
Nope.
Okay.
We got a shack.
All right.
You've got a job.
All right, so the next one. All right.
Oh, my God.
Next choice of space is Cindy Shea, MJ's.
Hi,
Hi.
2 please.
Number 2, space number 2. All right, and then the next choice is Ellie's Treats.
What numbers are left?
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
Can I take 1?
Sure.
Thank you.
So that means space number 1 for snack.
Page number 5.
Oh, space 5 is what's left over.
What's left?
Oh, I'm sorry. Space number 5 is, sorry. Yes, snack food is space.
Snack Buoy is present and
Yes.
space 5.
All right, so just a quick follow-up. Everybody that has been chosen to have a vendor space, it's your responsibility to get all other approvals, licenses, and permits from the town or wherever else you need them from. That's the responsibility of the applicant. What you got here tonight is the right to use the space. That's all we provide as a redevelopment authority. Everybody else has to do their due diligence, get their inspections, get their permits, and go from there. And provide the additional documentation if we didn't get your insurance certificates or anything else that was part of the bid, we need that. And Mark will be in touch to sign the leases with you and to move to the next step.
Right, so we'll be in communication about the security deposit, signing the lease, and basically the guidance that we just provided in terms of getting all the necessary permits, and we can help answer questions about that, but basically it's just the approval for the space, and then the next steps are working with the town on various permits.
Okay, I have one question. It sort of on application someplace. Is it May 1st again? We bring it down on May 1st, right? Correct. All right, perfect.
Yes, and it's up to the vendor to decide what sort of days and hours of operation that they'll have, but it starts May 1st and it ends on October the 12th.
Perfect.
All right, congratulations to all the vendors. Hope for good weather and a prosperous season for everybody. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just the spot of the application. It's not
All right. All right.
It's amazing. Good for
All right,
you.
we're getting Thank you.
And our son is big into like doing his own business and always selling stuff at school, so maybe he'll.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the third thing we have on the agenda tonight, is property maintenance landscaping discussion for the 2026 season. I know when we put it out last year, Mark, you can explain this a little bit better. It was put out last year, and we followed best business practices, getting 3 prices, it's less than $50,000 a year, so we can get 3 prices. Want to shut that door, please? Thank you. So we got 3 prices last year. The lowest bid was chosen last year. There was not an end date on when that contract would go out. We've done it year to year for a number of years, and so there was a request by somebody that they wanted to put a bid in this year. So I wanted to open up the discussion because normally we get 3 prices, and you know, if we want to do it more than 1 year, I think we should put that in writing and ask for it more than 1 year. I think the expectation by some people is that we'd be looking for prices again this year. It's a year-to-year contract, but it's my personal belief. I want to open up to the board what their thoughts are, what they think. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I just think, I know it's maybe annoying to do it year to year, but it's probably best practices to do it year to year, so I'd be fine opening it up for best business practices, 3 bids.
Yeah. Everybody else on the board? Dan?
No, I think that's fine.
That's fine.
It's what we're doing.
All right, so that's what we've been doing. So,
In the thing, we just need to make sure that it's clear that the person is, until we can put it out to bid again. Because
Right.
it's kind of written so that it ended and then we had this no on the zoning board. So it's not the date year, it's the physical year.
right,
Just
so
make sure that's clear.
we'll resurrect what we did with the last bid, have it ready for the next week and vote to put it out. We'll carry with the existing contractor until we get the next bids and go from there. Does that sound feasible?
That sounds good.
All right.
So would you like me to basically revise the existing solicitation of services
Yeah.
that I think Dan originally created with a 1-year timeframe?
Yeah, and just put language in there that if a new contractor isn't chosen by the time the 1 year is up, that the existing contract will continue to work until we pick a new contract, right? In case we run into a situation where
It takes longer.
yeah.
Because I wasn't around last year, just out of curiosity, will there be any change because there won't be actual vehicles there this summer?
It
You
will.
know, Will it be more, I mean, how much did it cost us last year? Do we see an increase?
Well, last year we saw an increase because of the number of times it was cut. We had good weather with plenty of rain. So
Okay.
it's on a per cut basis based on what they're cutting. The main lot, the parking vendor was always responsible for cutting those lots while they're under their control. This year, the main lot, Lot B, will not be under a parking vendor's control, so that'll be our responsibility. We were responsibility for cutting the House Shore Common, which is the section of Lot B that is behind the post and rail fence heading towards the hotel. Now we'll be responsible for that entire lot, all season long. And the HRA was responsible. Did we cut all of them last year?
On the bay side as well.
On the bay side. But the parking lot vendor, did they cut?
No, I think we gave it to them.
All right, so the parking lot vendor is responsible for their loss.
Yeah.
All right.
And that includes, and that lot particular, that will include trash that blows up from people getting in and out of their cars around it, from the parking from the PCR lot and everything else.
So it's cleanup in.
It's cleanup. There is, right now, there's a huge amount of it that is dirt and grass isn't stand a chance growing unless we continue this conversation either now or a little bit later in the meeting about possibly doing something.
Well, we're gonna have to do a spring cleanup probably before we get
Well,
this back
yeah,
out and work under the existing contractor and then.
Well, we could also discuss the idea that maybe we put some dirt back in there because we've been taking the dirt out for years because the bonfire essentially ruins the earth in order to get it out. So we could at least look at, as a board, maybe the next time, about the idea of bringing in some dirt and, well, good word, some good dirt, loam, and maybe seeding it, at which point that'll still take most of the summer before they have a mowing thing, but still, it might make the whole thing a lot more pleasant than just the big dirt and the mud puddle that we get every time it rains.
Till the bonfire burns it out and the
Well, when we start
tremors to death.
managing that with the town, if they, you know, the piece they ruin, then they.
I think that's a discussion that we should have down the road.
I just want to, has it been, in terms of the bids that we just saw, is it, is the idea behind it ultimately to offset the, you know, the groundskeeping with the bids we took in? Like we took in around $12,000, it looks like. Does that offset the, doesn't, okay.
It's close, depending on the season. Last year was a lot more expensive, I believe, than previous seasons. Joan would have a better
I
handle.
can give you the numbers next week when we meet again.
No, and I think the vendor spaces have never historically been to like make money necessarily. In fact, the bids are higher and higher than ever, especially this year because we limited the number of bids. It's more been like offering the opportunity for businesses for the summer.
So,
So we'll work towards getting three prices for the coming year. The existing contractor will continue to do it until we get that done, and we'll try to have it for the next meeting. It'll be on the agenda for next week, Monday next meeting, on the 6th.
so when are you doing the town cleanup thing?
That's April 18th.
So that's the town cleanup.
Yep.
In order to like not detract people away from that, I was actually thinking of doing a Bayside cleanup the week before. So people who aren't necessarily available for the 18th, and then also not to take people away from the townwide cleanup. So that was something I was gonna bring up during like new business.
I'm okay
Just for
with
the Bayside.
I'm okay with it. We should publicize it, but the beautification committee requested that we coordinate with them with our cleanup.
I
So-
know I did end up speaking to some of
All right,
them,
good.
and, yeah, I did speak to them.
Okay,
So,
I'm good with it.
so we need to do, this isn't the time you want to do the nail cleanup and the timing of what we're gonna have Tyler do as far as the cleanup.
I think we're gonna have to do that.
Fencing.
I think we're gonna have to do that stuff anyway.
Yeah,
So,
I know,
okay.
but we gotta decide who's doing what.
Well,
'Cause
right
the town
now,
is gonna do some of it, right? Because the
What's that?
fence that we were talking about, we gotta tighten that up.
Yeah.
What can we get the town to do versus Tyler versus?
so we're gonna have Tyler do the spring cleanup. Let me talk to the town and see what we can get out of them for their cleanup from the snow deposits down there. There's a pile of
Yeah.
stone that's there, and clean up the nails from the bonfire. So I'll talk to Chris Gardner about that, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Chris Gardner's the DPW director.
All right, so we,
The town's responsible for cleaning up after the bonfire and cleaning up after dumping the snow there. And it looks like somebody dumped a load of snow and it had a bunch of sand and salt. It looks like stones.
and the securing the perimeter, we've got, remember we were
Yeah.
talking about, we gotta,
Oh, yeah, well, the cable, that's on us.
yeah, but were we gonna try to get
We'll see if we
anybody in
can
the
get the
town to
light.
help?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to the light
Or,
department.
all right, so before we have Tyler do
Yeah,
that, I mean, I think he can do any of these things, but we don't wanna pay him to do it if we
No.
can suck the town into helping us at a lower price. So let me just make sure, because if I tried to remember our conversation, we talked for a long time, and so there's the fencing, and there was a couple poles that you thought maybe we could get the light plant to help us reset,
Yeah.
or maybe cut the telephone pole, and then that we got a couple there. Because I think the one is totally missing, remember? There, that corner one of the, next to where the vendor space is. And can I just add, so that when the next, I'm not gonna be here at the very next meeting, but the one after that at least, can we add to the agenda that we discuss the prospects of adding loam and seeding it? I have some ballpark estimates of the cost of that and what it might cost. And that would be, whether we want to spend it, but I think it as valuable to the town as the fireworks. If the thing was a little bit more pleasant to look at. So if we, if we've got the budget to help with fireworks, we might find the budget to,
So I'll put it on the agenda for the late April meeting,
yeah.
right?
I think you're supposed to plant grass in the fall anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. And besides, X out the area with the bonfires.
Yeah, we gotta get that fixed. Yeah, we got a few things to fix before we put down the ground. Okay,
All right,
as long as it's on the agenda, that's great.
all right. And then property maintenance discussion tonight will be back on the agenda for next week's meeting after we open up the parking bid. Do we have any meeting minutes for tonight's meeting?
Not this week.
All right, so we will not be doing meeting minutes. Joan, do we have a warrant this week?
Yes, we do.
All right,
Small.
no warrant.
Okay, first item is Pierce Atwood, Legal Consultants for February services, $7,148.50. The next one is for Howard Times for the publication for the request for proposals, March 12th and March 19th. And that total is for $660. And the last one is the Hull Light Plant for electricity for February 4th through March 8th, $23.44 for a total warrant of $7,831.94.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the warrant in the amount of $7,831.94.
Motion made by Adrian Paquin, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Dan Kernan. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
The survey committee, do we have an update?
Yeah, want me to take it?
Sure.
So we ended up getting about 4 bids, I think, 4 bids for printing. So we have chosen the lowest bid. I've sent them a proof of the postcard and I'm looking to get a sample from them. Mark is handling the voter rolls, which Charlie coordinated getting with town clerk. So we have our list of survey postcard recipients. Mark is going to be the only one who puts together the voter rolls with the unique pins that everyone gets. So only Mark would know who is what pin. Not that we'll be able to look up anyone's answers or anything, just we're being extra secure. So, and then we did discuss if somebody does lose their postcard, it would be Mark that they could reach out to. But every pin will only be able to be used once. So if someone has already used that pin, even if they say, hey, I lost my postcard, that's it, your pin has been used. So I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Oh, the price, just to give you an idea, it was, where is that? Here we go. The price is under $6,000 for printing and mailing. So I'm very pleased with that price. They were all around the same, but there was one lower than the others, so.
That was for the postcard or the whole survey?
The postcard, what do you mean the whole survey?
No, survey.
Sorry, the
Survey's
survey,
online.
yeah, survey's online, yes, sorry. Yes,
I'm still stuck in the
survey's-
80s.
Yeah, no, the survey is all online, the page is ready to go, basically, I'm waiting for the final, like, A-OK from Stephanie, but we're still waiting to finish printing. So, I think right now we're actually just waiting to hear back from the printer. And otherwise, we're good to go. I'm gonna design up some, taking the postcard and making it into like a flyer, and then also a little something to put in the Times. And then Mark, you had another idea, and I can't remember it right now. We have a bunch of marketing ideas, basically, to
Great.
promote the survey,
Excellent.
so.
Great job.
Yeah, it's been a great process. Adrian, just remind me, if, we had a long discussion about, you know, what if some people struggle on the internet or
Yeah.
things like that. We were gonna do a case-by-case basis and just to see. So if somebody really struggled, they would call, and I can't remember who they would call.
We decided not to do a call, we
Okay.
decided to do email.
The email, right?
Yeah.
Do the email.
So we'll actually all get the email, it'll just
Yeah.
go to contact,
Right.
and then we'll just see how many we get, and then if we do get a bunch, we could advertise some office hours at the senior center or at the library. But hopefully, as I think I mentioned before, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done on the internet nowadays, and hopefully people who struggle with that
Right.
already have support, but if not, we'll hear about it.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
All right. Any member updates to the board?
Yeah.
So the DCR town HRA meeting is the dates that were available. I'll be in Spain. So a few of us are on vacation. That's where we had a blacked out where we could
Right.
attend. So I'd like to I'd like to nominate Adrian to go in my place. That's what we were going to.
When was the date?
Well, there were, I don't know which one they're gonna pick.
I
It
think they
was
sent it out today.
next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
I think it's the 7th at 1 o'clock. Let me look at my emails. It came today. Now they look at, they haven't, something came up and they're looking to reschedule for Monday the 6th at 1 PM. But it hasn't been scheduled as of yet. Go ahead.
Chairman, Maggie Merrill, Hampton Circle.
Yep.
Is the public invited to that meeting?
It's a working group meeting with the DCR in the town.
So does that answer yes or no?
I don't know. I don't believe it's a public meeting. It's not a majority of the board. It's not posted as a meeting. It's a working group meeting with the town, but I don't know that I can even answer the question. I don't think so, but I'd say reach out to the town manager's office.
Okay.
I'll try to get an answer for you if you want to shoot me an email in the morning, and I will try to get an answer. Adrian, go ahead.
Well, I would be happy to attend on Monday, or whenever it is if Dan's not available. So I hope the authority will consider sending me in Dan's place if he's not available. Okay,
I don't know.
I have no objection.
great, thank you.
Right,
If you
all
could
right.
just let me know.
Yeah, I'll loop you into that email chain.
I appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Lisa French.
Page 47 Rockaway. I think that it is an open meeting because I know when I've requested public records, they've sent them for the the summaries for that meeting,
I-
those meetings. So I do believe that they are public. I do believe they are. Would they be at town hall?
It's a Zoom meeting, I believe, or a Teams meeting. It's online.
The public would need the link.
I have to verify, I don't know the answer to the question, so I'm gonna reach out to me in the morning and I'll find out if it's public meeting. I believe it's a working group meeting, but I don't know.
How does one reach out to you?
I'll give you my card, you can email me.
Okay.
All right. Or you can call me at the office at town hall.
Okay.
He's listed in the town.
Thank you.
I will get an answer.
Thank you.
I don't want to answer the wrong way, so
Sure.
I'll get an answer.
It would have to be posted if it is an open meeting.
So it's not there's not a quorum of any board meeting. It's a working meeting with the town and the DCR about working on the reservation. It's not only the two-way roads, but that's going to be one of the major subjects. Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't believe that's, I mean, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. But I think the fact that it isn't advertised by the town doesn't mean that it's not open, because there's no reason why it should be private. It is public business, and the DCR may not know that the town does not advertise it to residents. How would they know? How would they know? So, big check.
I'll find out.
Thank you.
All right. Any other? Oh, go ahead, Adrian.
Member updates,
But yep.
if I may. As some of you may have noticed, I did not pull papers for re-election for my seat on this board. I am not seeking re-election to the HRA simply because I'm moving out of town. It was honestly never my plan to be back living in my hometown, but I'm very lucky that Hull is my hometown, and I feel honored to have been able to serve the town on this board. And so I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for all the support, the emails, the Attagirls, as well as like the conversations, connections, and a particular thanks to all of you who show up and stay involved with what we're doing. So just thank you for being here. Thank you to my authority members, past and present, and I will keep until, I don't know when my last day is, but I don't technically know when this ends. It seems to kind of fade away, but I will be here working until the end.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for your service. Thank you for helping out. Thank you for everything that you've done. Any other member updates?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's an update or a new business.
We're getting a new business next. We
All
can
right,
start
good.
with a new business.
Well, I guess I'll do updates first. If you'll notice, the gazebo lights are gone. I sent you an email about this. Do we know, are we responsible for figuring that out for 250th? Because Ann Finley knew nothing about it.
Yes. They think we are.
Oh, good. Who's they? Wait, who is they?
The 250th committee.
Okay, the way that John Riley presented it to us was that he had arranged that with the Hull Light plant, and yet they seem to know nothing about it.
So what happened was the lights were blowing off.
Yes,
And they
yes,
went,
they
the
were.
company that does it took them down.
Yeah,
So that's something that we're gonna have to iron out.
okay, all right, I said, oh,
It's
I sent you
around
that email.
$2,000 to put them back up, but
okay.
that's something we're gonna have to iron out. I
Okay.
gotta go back and look at the tape for that meeting and then,
I believe the way it was presented, that was being taken care of with the light
Okay,
plant.
good.
We were not on the hook for that, from what I remember from the meeting, so.
we'll look at that and we'll figure it out.
That's what I have for member updates.
Any other member updates? All right, anybody have anything under new business?
Sure, me again, hi. If I may. Yes, a cleanup. So when I spoke with somebody about coordinating with the townwide cleanup, it was recommended that since the townwide cleanup was in the morning, we should do it in the middle of the day, which is actually high tide, which is not the best for cleaning up the bayside. We actually want to try to clean up the bayside at low tide. So considering they were trying to push us to the middle of the day and the tide doesn't work, that's why I opted to go the week before. And then, so hopefully people who can't make it for the townwide cleanup the week before will come to our cleanup on this Saturday or Sunday, haven't yet chosen, and I will advertise that accordingly. And we'll focus on the Bayside, because I know you're doing a bunch of stuff with Lot B, But the Bayside still has plenty to be
Yeah.
cleaned up.
It sure does. And if we can do it before the townwide cleanup, we can get the town to pick up our debris.
That also works, I'll reach out to DPW. So those who are involved, please put, sure, let's say the 11th on your calendars. Just decided right now, we'll have a morning cleanup on the Bayside. It really needs it this year. Also, there was a ramp on the shoreline. Do we know if the harbor master was kind and saw it and took it away, or where it went? It's a big wooden ramp?
It must have been somebody that floated away. Somebody must
Oh,
have.
they came and claimed it, great.
Well, somebody grabbed it, but there is a lot of debris. I was down there today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Laura Loventhal, Atlantic, wherever. Who's responsible for the little strip in between?
Great
That is a
question.
mess.
Yes,
So who does that?
that is not us.
Strip in between when?
Between the two one lanes.
That's the town. That's the DPW does that.
Oh, okay, good.
And they'll get to it as they get in the spring cleanup. I know they've had the sweeper out this week. They're starting with the road.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they're out there with a weed whacker and
Yeah.
stuff. It
They
started.
getting there.
It started.
All right. Anybody else on the new business? Anybody have anything on the old business? Go ahead.
I guess I'd just like to surface something that was brought to my attention this week, and I want to make sure all the authority members are aware of this. It was news to me, and it pertains to us. I feel like we have been told for the past, well, ever since I was on this board, that, oh, the two-way road plan, we're waiting for comment on the 25% design. We're waiting on comment, we're waiting on comment. And this week it was brought to my attention that we actually did get comment like 2.5 years ago. And then we submitted a whole other plan 1.5 years ago. And then parts of that new plan were presented to us in November. And that's when there was that vote to like endorse. But we didn't like see the full plan. So I just want to flag, and it's something I would love to get further clarity at the working session, that it appears that there have been like many back and forths, which you may say is like completely natural, but there have been many back and forths of like feedback from the, or at least a few, feedback from the DCR to the town, a new plan submitted by tech that we never were informed about. And I just find it a little troubling given that we keep asking to be informed and we keep asking for answers. And then 2.5 years later, I see a letter from the DCR to the town saying, oh, the two-way road plan is not compatible with the DCR's new climate adaptation and resiliency goals for the Nantasket Greenway. Now, I understand that since this, we have submitted a new plan, parts of which were presented to us in November. But I'm a little confused as to why we're being kept in the dark, and this was sent to Chris Diorio when he was actually working for us on the HRA, and we never heard anything
Can I see
about
that?
this. Yeah, sure. It's from November of 2023.
November of 2020.
So I'm just highlighting this because we keep asking for clarity and transparency, and we keep being told there's nothing to tell. And then there's this letter from the DCR with feedback to the town. And then there's a plan sent by tech to the DCR with new plans. So I'm just a little frustrated.
It went to the town planner.
Yep,
Yep. I don't know.
yeah.
Didn't go to me.
Yeah, this went to the town manager, the chair at the time, and the town planner who was working for us at the time, and we never heard about this. So it's just a little frustrating and something I would ask the board to, even when I'm gone, please ask for transparency for this process, because it feels like we're really being kept in the dark here. And now the town planner is saying that we've approved the new plan that we've never seen, because of that vote that we did in November where we endorsed the two-way road plan. So just calling it out, that's all.
So I believe the new plan that was presented at our meeting, that was the most recent plan that was being submitted back to DCR, is that correct?
We were presented some small pieces of a plan I had never seen that was from October of 2024 that I only just saw this week.
What were we presented at our meeting?
We were presented some of those things that showed the boardwalk
Right.
and how we might have to give up extra land. But that was part of a much larger plan done by tech.
Right.
just calling it out.
Cindy, go ahead.
Cindy Borges, Nantasket Ave. You know, given that it's maybe not very clear to the board, maybe the board would reconsider a vote whether they endorse the plan, because are you sure of what plan you were even voting on when you endorsed it?
Me personally, I wouldn't be reconsidering it until we see the new plan based on it. The vote was in concept with the plan that was originally there. My belief is that the design changes were to line up with DCR goals and objectives for their master plan for the front beach. And so I think the two-way road plan still has merit. I think before it goes to the next step, when we gotta get the new plan, I think the board should revisit it and take a vote based on that. Dan, go ahead.
At the time, it was asked that the motion clarify that it was in concept, and you got very emphatic at the end and took all that out. We flat endorsed it, and you pushed that through. I just want to say that's what happened at that meeting. And I don't think that the board intended to push it through in anything other than we support whatever the town and the DCR come up with, not that we are endorsing something that they don't agree with yet. That was a different sort of thing. At least that's what I thought happened. Now, I voted against it, but I still thought that what you guys did had its merits. I'm not sure that what ended up finally getting voted on, I was very disappointed. So, I don't know.
We can always revisit that as a board. Any vote can be revisited as a board. Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, personally, you know, that's news to me, November of 2023, I believe was that. That's brand new to me. You know, coming in October, I guess it was, or September, I came to that meeting, listened to the presentation, and what resonated with me personally was the fire chief and police chief's recommendation that it would be much more beneficial to have the two-way road. So you know, through my lens, you know, thinking of my 86-year-old mother, thinking of if it could save someone's life getting through town in a summer day, my vote was predicated on that knowledge base. That's where, so all the other peripheral, you know, I'm learning every day, but that's news to me, November of 2023.
I just want to...
Adrian's got her hand up.
If I may. Yeah, I think my problem, similar to Dan's, was that it was just so vague, and now, kind of just as I expected, it's being used against us to say that we actually approved of something that wasn't presented to us, actually. Because the things that they presented to us, I actually would agree with, you know, giving more land so that the DCR can have their boardwalk. I would love to see us have the boardwalk. But we weren't actually presented a plan. We were presented the general concepts and then, oh, maybe these edits. You know, we weren't actually shown a plan that I have now since seen. So that was the reason I didn't vote for it, was because it was too vague. And so I just want to just state that please ask for clarity moving forward, because it feels like we're doled out information as it pleases, and then we're the unreasonable ones who are asking for clarity when we're being really withheld information from. And yet we're the ones who are abutters. We're the ones who have financed a large amount of this, and so please keep asking questions. I beg my board.
Go ahead, Dan.
And we'd be the ones giving up quite a lot of land to widen the road once they had the boardwalk. And I really do think we should reconsider. I think that we, those that voted for it, intended to support something that they thought everybody agreed on. The discussion there that I don't think people understood I was making with tech was the road, the two-way road plan, which has got safety issues that nobody cared since they were identified to go put up signs, slow anybody down, are not Fifth Street. if we do some form of community space there, and we take the main street and we move it straight on through there, there's no way that's safer. The tech guy acknowledged that if the current roads were used for the two-way road, and we didn't use Fifth Street, that it would still satisfy whatever we're trying to achieve. He acknowledged that. He preferred to have the two-way roads go through the Whole Shore Drive extension. But it is not necessary to achieve the goals that he described, and he admitted that. The DCR pushback, at least the part of it that has to do with our area, has to do with the Whole Shore Drive extension is part of the DCR park. There's a gate there. We have decided that we're going to turn it into a two-way road, and they're pushing back because it's part of their boardwalk plan. I don't see that we should be endorsing something that makes what we want to do harder. It makes what we might want to do less safe. I've heard everybody on this board at this particular time. We may not be all in agreement, ready to make some big decision, but pretty consistently this board has said that it would be really nice on the main lot to make it I forget the exact words that we used, but if you look at what they said they want to do with the boardwalk, it's the exact same words. I don't know who was crafting the language on our side, but if you look at the document there, they use the exact same words when they say about their community, open space, whatever the words were. And I was looking back at the way we use our language, and for the main lot, we use the exact same language as to what they want to achieve. And we're endorsed something that's at odds with that. It just seems that we shouldn't endorse that. Maybe it's what is best in the end, but we're not in a position to have endorsed that.
So I'm going to disagree with you. All right, of course I am. But the two-way roads didn't come out of thin air. They come out of a long combination of working with the DCR, Mass Development, the Town Hall, and the HRA. And so all through this process, the DCR was involved, the HRA was involved, the Town Hall was involved, Mass Development was involved back then, and it was talked about ways to improve pedestrian safety, to improve access to businesses, to not have pedestrians basically in a position where they're in a crosswalk and there's cars speeding by and the car in the opposite lane, two-way traffic, two lanes going same direction. If one car's in front, somebody's in the crosswalk here and this guy's here, this guy stops, this guy keeps going, this guy's walking across the crosswalk. It's unsafe for them. So that was one of the main impetuses for the two-way roads. The other main impetus is that it made it more accessible for people to get across. It slowed traffic down because when you have two ways in each direction, people tend to speed up. And the other thing was that you had 2 extra lanes from Water Street to the Monument. You have 4 lanes of traffic, whether it's one way, 2 lanes going each direction, down past the Red Parrot. It's 2 lanes going northbound on the beach side, 2 lanes going southbound on the bay side, and the traffic speeds up when you got 2 lanes going in the same direction. When you get to the HRA property, now you have 6 lanes. You've got 2 lanes along the beach, you got 2 lanes cutting across where it's caused rollover accidents. There's been people that turned out into oncoming traffic on Hull Shore Drive, caused a rollover accident there. In the last 5 years, there have been 3 rollover accidents there. I can't tell you how many people turned into oncoming traffic and how many people have been in a crosswalk where somebody has to lock them up because they don't see them in the crosswalk. So, from my opinion, it's been a safety issue, it is a safety issue, and it also makes the HRA land more attractive. The HRA was in support of it before. We supported it most recently when Tech came to us before. They're working through it. I believe the DCR's letter about the 25% design, it didn't fit into theirs because the way the road was laid out was because they wanted to widen their boardwalk. And for them to widen their boardwalk, they'd need more land on Hull Shore Drive and Hull Shore Drive extension. So to do that, they're using leverage with the HRA to get some land to provide their boardwalk. We as a board, we want open space, we want pedestrian safety, we want that park space. It would make sense for us to give them enough land to make the boardwalk wide, because now you'd have a green strip along the ocean side, you'd widen the boardwalk, you'd change the parking along Hull Shore Drive between Mezzomare and Water Street, where that would be, now be parallel parking instead of you pulling in and backing out into the street. You tee up the intersection at Mesomar, where now you have people coming up southbound on Nantasket Ave, constantly turning into oncoming traffic at Mesomar. The whole system needs to be revamped. Now, this board can certainly vote to change direction at any given time, but it's a town project. The HRA is involved in it. We've been involved in it from the beginning with the planning with master development, the HRA and the town hall, going back 15 years, and we continue to be involved in it. If the HRA wants to change its position, that's fine. I think before we vote to change our position, I think we have to see where it's going. They're working through the process with the DCR to get the resiliency that the DCR wants, the safety that they want, and the boardwalk that they want. Part of that is a give and take between the HRA, the town, and the DCR. So that's my opinion. Dan, go ahead.
Okay. I actually agree with everything you said, except for the fact that it doesn't need to be extended through Whole Shore Drive extension. There's nothing that you didn't say that was wrong. If you don't, fine, I don't personally endorse the two-way road plan based on citizen input, Tony, because I think it's not going to achieve your goals, but assuming it achieves even half those goals, everything you said is true. Safety is really important. It isn't necessary, though, to go and do it on Whole Shore Drive extension. If you use the existing roads, have them two ways, the safety factors are there. You can fix the other side of town. You can fix that intersection at Water Street. You can fix everything you want to fix. And if in fact it really is as important as you say, I'm surprised that they haven't put a blinking light or something there to go and address the safety issues in all this time. Second, since we've been included, it has now been brought to everybody's attention that we were not included when they decided to push back on this. We were not included when they put up together a new plan to address the pushback. We have not been included. And you just pointed out, they didn't even include you, and you work in the building with them.
I don't work on the road, so I'm in the building department.
But you're...
I'm in the building department.
Well, they sits just across the hall from you. He could have mentioned it because it was his name was on it.
Well, either
So
way.
they're not including us as much as we would like. And to endorse it until they include us seems a little bit premature.
That being said, the HRA sees a benefit from the two-way roads, including House Shore Drive extension, because the HRA is going to now have a large rectangular lot running from Water Street all the way to the DCR parking lot near Doc Bergen's house. We gain 27 feet on the bay side, running from Cumberland Farms southbound, going towards Apostles at Water Street. So you want more open space, you want more green space, you want all these improvements that we're going to get, but you don't want to do the two-way roads. I think it's conflicting. Go ahead.
I agree with you. All of those things are true. Those have to do with our URP. The reason that we wanted to endorse it is because the suggestion is that it's a town project and we should step aside and let the town do what the town's doing. When you start discussing the actual space, how we would move that road through, how we're going to have the whole Edgewater extension, and we're going to have a road through there, because I do not believe you can have that two-way road and lose one of the main roads, so there's only two roads now, and they don't have that whole Edgewater extension. So we are going to have the diagonal thing. We won't give that up. We will regain that space. We'll have to have a new crossroad. We're going to give it almost 20 feet up in order to get what their added boardwalk is about 20 feet wider. You're going to have to give it up on the other side. That's our property. There's just a lot of things that are moving around to endorse it before we understand what's getting moved, how it's going to affect our options, all of those things. I'm not saying that we're voting against it. I'm saying that we don't have the information to go and move forward and endorse something that we don't fully understand how it will affect our decisions. I am sitting here, and clearly, I just want to be very, very clear. I'm kind of way out there on the extreme. I would love to see us asking for a green space. I believe that if we don't pick the middle lot, we identify the entire property as something that we want to go and turn into a community space, work with an architect. We could possibly work with the DCR, relocate their parking, and create a green space that goes the entire length of the property. That does not preclude some of the property that's along the two-way road, which is not on the beach, from being developed. But a green space that starts at the bathhouse ends. Now we're working with DCR. They need to build a new bathhouse. Maybe that bathhouse should be in exchange with HRA property, not on the wrong side of the road. They want to do many, many things that are aligned with what we want to do, and we're just going to endorse a two-way road plan that doesn't necessarily even align with what they want to do, let alone the fact that it would preclude us from having a beachfront park, let alone it would have us preclude any designers or architects that came in here and said, okay, we want to do this sets of things, and can work with the entire piece of property in a holistic way with the DCR. We are making decisions before we understand all of the ramifications, I believe. Not that I'm going to say that I'm going to get the other 4 members of the board to believe that we should have a beachfront park, that we should have this process, that working with an architect that's going to look at it holistically and willing to work with the DCR to rearrange a lot of things and start doing the trade based on a vision. We can start doing the trade today, but it feels like we're doing the trade before we've really worked out the vision. There.
Let me just rebut that. Because we could talk about doing trades, but I've seen the town deal with the DCR in the past. The DCR came to the town back 12, 13 years ago with a master plan. And the master plan was to redo the whole boardwalk along the beach. And they were going to do all kinds of great things with pergolas, widening the boardwalk. The biggest part of that process that they had was fortifying the seawall and armoring it with boulders. It was $60 million to do the DCR work down there. The majority of that money was to armor the seawall. Since that's happened, they've maintained what they have. They haven't done anything that was in that plan. That was 12 years ago, other than armor the seawall from Atlantic Hill all the way down to Water Street. So I agree that we should be working with the DCR, and I agree that we should continue to work. I think the HRA and the town hall and the path that we're on is the best path, because if we can build resiliency into the two-way roads and get the roads done, we can get the park, we can get the improvements that we want, we can get the beach to bay park with some development and create more open space. And if you're creating a boardwalk that's going to be green and open space, that's open space, whether it's on this side of the beach, which everybody wants to walk on. Right now it's just an asphalt walkway the whole way. If you got some green space and some park space there, you go across the street, you have parks across the street, I think it's an improvement all the way around. I don't think, and I remember a few years ago when the board voted they didn't want to endorse the two-way roads, and now you're saying we shouldn't have endorsed them. You can't have your cake and eat it too. We get a difference of opinion. Adrian, go ahead.
I mean, I would say, yes, you can't have your cake and eat it too, because you're saying that the DCR is a partner that isn't going to act on anything, because look, they haven't acted on anything, and yet we need them to act on this two-way road plan. So are you willing then, if the DCR is not a partner who's able to help us move projects forward, because look, they haven't done their master plan, how long are we gonna be sitting around waiting and pushing this two-way road plan if they're a partner who doesn't show up and do their part of the deal? We need them for the two-way road plan to even happen. So I'm just saying, like.
So let me respond to that.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so right now we've got almost $500,000 in MassWorks grants to do the 25% design on the two-way roads. We've got another $880,000 in federal funds to do the design for the two-way road plans. The federal funds for the two-way roads puts it into a TIPS project. The MassWorks puts it into, time out, let me finish.
How long do TIPS projects take typically? 10 years?
Can I finish?
It's 10 years, right?
Let me finish.
Got it.
The MassWorks projects, they're a lot shorter horizon. If they're part of an economic development project and you've got development going with it, you're going to create jobs and you're going to create housing, mass development monies come a lot quicker. If we don't do that, the TIPS project is a 10-year horizon. But if it's in the TIPS program with a 10-year horizon, the funding will come. Okay, and so we've garnered that money, and you're building resiliency, and we have the money for the design right now. And if we have a united front going forward with the HRA, the DCR, the town hall, that funding and that resiliency is more likely to move forward instead of one agency working by themselves. We've lined up funding for the design. We've lined up, this isn't something that happened in a vacuum. This is something that's happened over the last 15 years. Now, if the HRA wants to revisit, absolutely. I don't think we should throw a wrench in the spokes in the middle of it right now. I think we should go to our meeting with the DCR and see where it goes. But I think we're getting the benefits that we're gonna get with the design of the two-way roads. We're gonna get the park space that we wanna get. We're gonna get more park space along the ocean side, which everybody wants. You're gonna get a town common in the middle of the HRA that will go connect right to the bay. Then the question becomes, if there's gonna be development on the HRA, how much of the HRA would be developed and where would it be? And that remains for this board to make that decision. But I think we've guarded funds. Everybody said, we should be pursuing grant funds. We should be doing this, we should be doing that. We did, and we did get grant funds. We got almost $1.5 million in grant funds, and we spent a lot of time to get where we are. And so, pardon me if I'm a little passionate about it, but I've been involved in this for a long time. It took us a long time to get where we are right now, and I want to see it through. Go ahead.
Okay, so 15 years, you said. 15 years you've been working on this, okay? If you go and take a survey of the citizens even in this room, they don't know why we're doing the two-way road plan, okay? I just want to say that the community has not been involved in this.
They voted on it at town meeting.
They've not.
There's nothing in that warrant that says two-way road plan.
No.
And
They saw
did
the
not-
presentation that he authorized the selectmen to make the two-way roads. You
No,
can
they-
say potato or potato, all right?
The
It's not
citizens
very-
believes, I'm not done, I get to finish.
Go ahead.
The citizens that I've talked to, which is a lot of them, and I hope that everybody goes out and talks to their friends, they believe that what that was voted on, because people care about this thing. A lot of people know what's going on with the two-way road plan, in spite of the fact that they don't hear anything. They believe that what was authorized was you to go and do some research into it to find out if it's going to help with safety. We have a safety issue. They did not vote on having it be a decision. They voted on the research work to do the study because we have a problem. They didn't vote on the current two-way road plan, how it came up, the revision that was presented to the DCR that was not approved. They didn't see that one. You didn't even see that one. When they came back and revised it, none of us seen it, but the citizens didn't either. To say that the town, who are we talking about?
They
The
voted
town
on the motion.
manager, or are we talking about the citizens? The citizens only voted for you to study it, and a study
You
doesn't
didn't read the
mean
motion if
to
you think it
go
was to
through.
study it. The motion
I'll read
authorized
it.
it.
I have it.
So read it. Read the
Sure.
motion that was actually voted
Yeah, I'll
on.
read
It was
it.
to authorize the select board
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Article 11 or moved? They're both basically the same. Moved that the town vote to alter, discontinue, and/or abandon portions of Nantasket Avenue located in the Hull Redevelopment Authority area, generally between Phipps Street and Water Street, and/or ratify and confirm any prior alteration, discontinuance, and/or abandonment, and to authorize or ratify any actions of the Board of Selectmen to convey or grant use of all or a portion of the town's right, title, and interest in same to such parties as approved by the Board of Selection under such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen may deem prudent and beneficial to the town.
And so isn't that what I just said?
No.
Did you get the words two-way road in there?
They authorized the selectmen to do the work to do it.
No.
They effectuate the two-way road. plan.
No.
And at the end of the day, the select board are the traffic commissioners.
And they
They're the
didn't
ones
do
that do it.
They
So
didn't do it.
So I really didn't finish my point.
Go ahead.
I digressed around the 15 years, because that was just a response. Actually, I wanted to really respond about the fact that we have this culture in this town, and I don't know where it came from, that we only see the shortcomings of what the DCR has accomplished. You pointed out that they built the head wall. I personally thought when they put in the new bathhouse from the boarded up building that was there, it was an improvement. The pavilion that we have the music on the weekends, they fixed that thing up. The whole headquarters was just all completely run down. At least it's painted and it's cleaned up. So when you're saying that the only thing they did was put in the rocks and the head
I was
wall,
talking about the plan they had.
the plan, the funding did a tremendous amount to improve our town. And as a result, almost immediately, other properties around that area started to get improved. So I just want to say, the improvement in that whole area was first initiated by the DCR coming in and cleaning all that up. They did it first, as far as I can tell. I've only been here, I'm a newbie, I've only been here for over 31 years, because we're having our 31st Easter egg hunt. So I've been here over 31 years, I don't know how many days before I was here, but I remember what the town was like, and I remember how overjoyed I was when I saw this tremendous amount of work done And it was so fast, and it was just so beautiful how the town turned around. And since then, the whole town has been on a trajectory that has been continuously improving. So I just want to say, I personally am a fan of what the DCR has done, and I don't see them as falling short constantly. I see that
So now you're putting
really-
words in my mouth. I didn't say they fall short constantly. I said they didn't do anything that was on the plan that they presented 12 years ago, 13 years ago, other than arm of the seawall. Everything else that you just cited is maintenance of existing facilities. That being said, the DCR does a great job of maintaining the town what they have with the budget they have and the staff that they have. And as far as the improvements down there, you're attributing that to the DCR. I would attribute that to the Nantasket Beach overlay district zoning. That's what created the atmosphere to allow those property owners to redo those properties and put something there other than the boarded up 23 buildings that were there 15 years ago. So we can sit here and argue all night. We're going to disagree on just about everything. But Adrian, go ahead.
Thank you. For the record, I did not actually bring this up to bring up our opinions on the two-way road plan. I simply wanted to inform the board of new information that I had come across, which has honestly been my #1 issue with this entire project since the beginning. If you remember, I've said many times, the ball is already rolling. I didn't vote for it, but the ball is already rolling. My problem has been consistently not being given the information about the thing that we allegedly have set into motion, voted to endorse, etc. That is my issue, and that is why I brought this up tonight. I do just want to note, for your reference, that this warrant at this annual town meeting, there were 198 voters present, 124 citizens voted for this. So please remember, when we do our survey upcoming, that I hope we get more than 198 people to respond to our survey, but 124 people, 198 people made this decision 8 years ago. So just to provide that context, I have nothing more to say on this topic. Dan.
I have one more thing.
Oh, God.
I would like to hear what Charles and Joan think. I
mentioned before, and I think you said it a couple different times after Bartley spoke. You say you don't disagree with a lot of the two-way road piece in terms of, but again, I came in not knowing anything in terms of, playing catch-up, moving back full-time. And when the two-way road came up and there was a presentation there, and what resonated with me was the safety piece and the person speaking, talking about what the fire chief and police chief advocate for the two-way road. And that just kept coming back to me, thinking about when I grew up here, and there were 3 police stations, one in the village, one at the foot of my hill, and one at A Street, and now I guess there's one back at Atlantic Hill. But over the years, there's been a transformation. But I just listened to those folks, and I have listened to people in town who must be aligned with the fire chief and police chief that advocate. But safety was the word. And when we were voting on it, I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, it was at one point somebody said, well, it doesn't really even matter. We have nothing to do with the, in a sense, we don't have the authority to endorse it. So it's kind of a long-winded way of speech. Some guy came in, asked for, through my lens, my recommendation. I saw it, said, safety is really important to me, and these people, if we can save a person's life, and that's where the advocacy on my part came from.
So the whole Shore Drive extension piece of it, where did you come down on that? I don't want to.
Dan, you and Adrian had copies of your documents. The rest of us don't. So it's very hard.
Yeah, we just got them this week.
Okay, but it's
No,
very
of
hard to
course.
speak on some
Of course.
new information that you folks have
No, of
and
course.
to put us on.
Well-
When we voted, I thought we were voting to endorse the concept of the two-way road. That was the motion.
That was your
My
motion.
understanding.
Yes.
And we said that we wouldn't have to vote again until they come to us and ask the HRA for money,
And/or land.
land. But that was it,
Yeah.
in my understanding.
And at the end, Bart removed the concept work. And that did make a lot of sense, what you were saying, but it freaked me out when we just in general endorsed it. Not the concept, because the concept could change. I mean, there's nothing that, between what Bart and I said that aren't the concept, and that did not get into the motion.
Okay, and I'm not privy to any of the meetings. I know Dennis went to one of the DCR meetings, and we haven't heard anything. It's been silent. I would like to propose that there is an upcoming meeting, and let's hear what they have to say, and, you know, Adrian and Bart will be there. Bring it back to the board, and let's see if we can move forward. I mean, us sitting here,
No, of course.
back and forth, we're not gonna change anything. We're preaching to the choir here,
Okay,
among ourselves. I mean,
Thank you.
We're
it's,
arguing among the choir.
I just, you know,
I'm not gonna say argue.
I just, you know.
We're
because-
just having a good discussion.
Right, Bart and I are very passionate, and
You're
it's
very
like
passionate,
we
and
can
you're both-
waste your entire evening. We need to go.
We should go drinking together.
You both are raising the same points, and I think.
Right, we agree
you're more on-
99%.
You're
So-
more similar than you think.
Oh, no, I know we are, that's why I laugh at him all the time.
Uh,
We fight like dogs, but we aren't that far apart.
we fight like
I
American
just
dogs.
wanted, yeah, I know.
We need counseling.
Yes, all right.
Lisa, go
But
ahead. Oh, sorry.
definitely, I would like to see, you know, if you could share, if that's
Yeah.
possible, share it.
I'll share with everyone the documents that I
Okay.
got this week, as well as, what is it? Chris Diorio saying the HRA agreed to this when it was presented to them in a public meeting in 2025. We agreed to something, apparently.
In what?
That's just what, they're taking our motion of
Oh.
endorsing as saying that we're agreeing to all these design changes. So that's how it's being taken. No matter what we did, that is how it's being taken.
And how did, just out of curiosity, why weren't we privy? Is this something that you went out and got, or did
Someone
send-
presented the document to me, and I investigated it and asked questions about it,
Got it.
and then got more documents.
Okay, so you'll send that?
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can-
I'll send it.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Did you have to
I didn't
do
want
a
to just send them without context.
No, did you have to do a public records
I
request
didn't.
for the town?
No,
Oh, somebody else must have.
I guess so. Documents just get sent to me. I don't think they're being faked. You can look at it. I don't think they're being faked.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Lisa, go ahead.
47 Walkway. I really agree very much with everything that Dan has said. I really appreciate that you're saying those things, and Adrian too, that bringing this up, bringing this out. I really hope that all the members of the board seriously listen to this issue of what should be serious is that the board, at the time when they were asking for information, were not given information that was available to town employees. Now, HRA, I was watching these meetings all this time, so I have heard them. I have heard them ask for this information. So I don't think it's something to overlook or to minimize the fact that they did not get what they were asking for. Also, I think I won't speak for them because I don't know what they looked at, but when they talk about not having the whole plan, I don't know if either of you have actually seen the whole plan. I don't know what was presented to you, but the plan for the two-way road goes all the way down to Anastas Corner. And when you get a chance to really study that plan, the latest version, if you can see it, there are so many the safety issues, a lot, are right down there at Anastas Corner. I think a lot of people, like if you didn't look at the whole plan, and you heard people talking about how important this would be, how much this would help for safety, and if you've driven through Anastas Corner, you would say, oh yes, of course. And I think a lot of people would think that too. We all would have no problem expressing concerns about safety and with the traffic in Anastas Corner. But if the HRA, when the HRA agreed on, it sounds like you agreed, I don't remember, I was there, but I don't remember exactly what you agreed to, and I don't remember how the motion was. But if basically you were approving a transfer of land to the DCR to expand the boardwalk, if that's what you were agreeing to, I certainly think just of itself that part of it Personally, I feel that that's a very good thing to do. However, if when you agreed to that, you were also telling the town employees, the DCR, that the HRA approves of everything on that two-way road plan, down to Manassas Corner and every single part of it, then I think and I hope that all members of the board will seriously look at this again, really seriously, objectively look at the whole plan. Newer people on the board may not realize the importance of this, that yes, it's been many years that they were developing it, but so few residents ever had a chance to look at that two-way road plan. I have seen meetings that were recorded, that were called public hearings for the two-way road plan. I swear, 10 residents in the audience, 2 of them sitting on boards that deal with approval of things like roads. 8 residents out of the town of Hull. 8 residents sitting in a room, seeing a presentation of the two-way road plan. Not expressing their opinions about it. Nobody was taking their input. They weren't getting public input on whether people approved of it. It wasn't like a meeting where people said, the community of Hull said, yes, we want this two-way road plan. Nobody was asking them. They were shown presentations, several over the years, and there are usually a handful of people like that in the room and not more. The public never had a chance to really discuss this overall, and everybody in the community never had a chance to look at the initial version of the two-way road and anything since then. They have no idea. I know the majority of people have no idea what that plan looks like. So, of course, you cannot assume that people would want this. They have their own opinions maybe because they've driven through that area all the time. The public has a right to have a say in whether or not you change our roads in a major sort of way. I believe the reason the HRA was doing this, the HRA paid everything. Paid for everything. Paid for the town's portion. The town never paid for any of the studies or anything. The HRA paid the town's portion all the way along on this. I think because the HRA as a group, there are 5 members on the board. It's a lot easier to get consensus with 5 members. And then in that 2018 meeting, if everybody looks at this again, you watch the meeting, everybody can, before they showed that presentation of the two-way road plan, with the first town meeting, it didn't pass. They had a second special town meeting that year, 2018. They had a second one. And at the second one, Tech got up there and showed the two-way road plan. And then all the members, Len Niels, the chair of the HRA, several other people on the HRA stood at the podium and said, this is not a vote for the two-way road plan. This is not a vote for the URP. They said, this is not a plan for the urban renewal plan, or not a vote for that. This is not a vote for the two-way road. Costa said it. Len Niels said it clearly. You can hear him in the meeting. He says, you are not voting for the two-way road plan. You are not voting for the urban renewal plan here. You are only voting to allow the select board you're authorizing them to transfer the land to the HRA if they feel that it's a good idea to transfer it. And, as everybody knows, they have not transferred the land. And if anybody, and this is further, if people look into it, the things that I have read, anybody can find. It's a hassle to look it up. It's really a hassle, but the meeting minutes for the select board, year after year, when the HRA came to them and showed them the two-way road plan and the URP, the select board members, some of the same members on it now, did not approve it. They had all sorts of concerns about the two-way road. They flat out said it, and it's in their meeting minutes. They have concerns. They had concerns that the public had not seen it. Greg Gray. I can find them if somebody wants. I can look at certain meeting minutes for the select board. Greg Gray said, I am concerned because the public has not seen this, and I don't feel comfortable if the select board making any decision if the public has not seen this. Greg Gray said that. And others said that over the years. They did not, they were never sure, they didn't see enough, they weren't sure about it, and the public has never had a chance to really look at it. So, sorry. I get emotional too. But what Dan has said, I think is wonderful. And I just wish that the rest of the board, especially the newer people who, I don't know, may or may not have seen the same things, please carefully look at everything and take it seriously, the fact that these materials were asked for over and over again and were not provided. That's not right that that happened. Okay, thanks.
Just to follow up on what you said, you're absolutely correct. The vote at town meeting was to authorize the select board. The select board are the traffic commissioners. They have to have a hearing and they have to endorse any transfer of land. They were authorized by town meeting to do it. It will not happen unless the select board, as the traffic commissioners, move to do the transfers to make the two-way roads possible. But that being said, the town did apply for the grant monies and did continue the process. The process isn't complete until the select board actually votes to do those road changes and vote to make those land transfers. Town meeting authorized the select board to do that work. That's what the vote was. So I don't disagree with anything that you said. Steve?
Steve Greenberg, 23 T Street. I would only hope that since you have a meeting coming up on Monday, that perhaps the representative of the HRA clearly make a statement that there is some confusion about this situation, and that what you find out at that meeting then can then be brought here to say, we would like to change, we would like to clarify our position, because we believe that we have been misquoted from the town plan. And I would leave it at that. I think it's bad form to walk into a meeting on Monday, having voted against the major part of the agenda 4 days before. This just doesn't go well with the other parties sometimes. But I think that a clear statement that there is confusion about the level of support, is the concept or the details, it certainly is appropriate, and I hope that you do that to clarify with them that, but that we're willing to, that the HRA and the town of Hull and the DCR could hopefully eventually work together and come up with a solution that works for everyone.
Thank you, Steve. Cindy Borges.
Okay, so I actually just happened to watch.
State your name, so it's right there.
Cindy Borges, you can pass it out, you said it before. I happened to watch a two-way road plan from 11/19/15 yesterday, just out of the blue, looking for something, I found it. And you were talking about how you were gonna do the Edgewater Road extension next year. That was in 2015. So clearly this really has never gotten teeth into it, if you ask me, because it hasn't happened in all this time. You've gotten the money to fund what the HRA wanted to do when Chris was on the board and everybody else was in agreement that was on the board. What's happening now with the DCR, with their roadmap, it's a roadmap, resiliency roadmap for parkways. It makes no sense, if you ask me, to put a parkway where you're gonna be pelleted by rocks. That's why they swing that thing shut on Hull Shore Drive during the storm, because you can't really drive safely on that road. So it seems like we should be putting more of our focus, and I think that's gonna happen with the DCR. They're asking they're asking for the town's feedback, which is when it gets really concerning to me that there's people in this DCR meeting that are asking for the town's feedback, but like, we're not really included in specifics of what those things are. I wasn't presented to it. There was a meeting that the planning board was at where this roadmap was, and then they just gave it to us to look at and, just review with no context, nothing. Like, is there a recording of the meeting, I asked, that we could have some context for that? No. So in that, what I took out of that little resiliency parkway thing was that DCR is actually very willing to work with the town. They're trying to work with the town. They want to work with us on the master plan. They want to work with us in a lot of ways. That's the feedback that we get from the DCR in the DCR meeting minutes. And then when I watched you can't get on it anymore, but the Unified Work Plan meeting minutes, they wanted DCR on the other side of the table. They actually didn't want them in the room with them. They wanted them on the other side of the table. And you can't get that recording anymore, but those were my notes. DCR, I think, is willing. I hope that I hope there's representation of the people, of the, more representation than one person with one opinion going to speak for an entire board in an entire town on such an important project all these years, and then left in the dark when we're asked for information too. So I hope that, what's happening now with the DCR Parkway and resiliency, that's a great idea. We should be resilient, we should be worried about our evacuation routes. Those are the concerns that I would be focused on. DCR doesn't own Nantasket Ave, which would make more sense to me to be the road that we would be maybe even keeping. Like, there's a lot to be looked at with this, but, that's all being worked out. But I think that there has to be a lot more collaboration within the groups of people, not just one person being sent from a board to represent an entire board in an entire town. Thank you.
Susan Vermillion, 17 East Street. I just had two comments. One is you mentioned something about a 2024 tech revision to the two-way road. Is that something that the HRA paid for?
No. The HRA agreed to pay for portions of the MassWorks grant, the town share of it. The MassWorks grant and that planning money is going towards the design. So the revisions are part of that design work. So whatever we endorsed to pay back originally is what we're responsible for.
So
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but
68,000. So you guys paid for it, but you're not seeing what you're paying for?
we were presented last October.
We were presented pieces.
Well, that was the first revisions, as far as I know.
It's a
The
huge
DCR, there was-
20-page document.
What's that?
It's a 20-page plan.
Yeah.
We didn't see much of it.
No.
I've sent it to you. I've sent it to
So I
everyone
guess the point I'm making is that if you are paying for any revisions, then you really ought to be seeing each revision, because if you are publicly endorsing something, you ought to know what that something is. And then the second thing I just wanted to mention is, you know, in terms of the two-way road, you know, there's two schools of thought from a lot of people in town. There's the school of people who feel like the two-way road is only coming forth because of development on the HRA land. That's sort of where it initiated way back. And then there's the school of thought of safety. And so, and probably, you know, truth to both. If you have been dealing with this for 15 years, why isn't the town dealing with the safety issues? If that is the real reason that we're moving to this two-way road, then I would challenge you, Charlie, if you're concerned about, is it your mother? That you,
Well, everybody, no, I mean, just
that you push the town manager, she's working on a capital improvement plan. You mentioned maybe a traffic light. Like, if there are significant safety concerns, let's not wait until a TIP project that's 10 years in the future. Why aren't we acting on that now? And if we're not acting on it now, then the school of thought of this is only being done to put buildings on the HRA land feels more like we're moving in that direction and not the safety.
So if I may respond to that.
Yes, please.
The two-way road on the Nantasket Ave side, that's the town road. The town does work to keep that. The big ocean side of the road, that's a state road. The town, they have traffic jurisdiction to pull cars over for speeding, but they don't have control of that road. That road, the roadways fall under control of State Department of Transportation on George Washington Boulevard to Mezzomari to that intersection. Then when you cross over along the beach and you cross over at the bathhouse, the Mary bathhouse, all that road all the way down from Mezzomari all the way down to Phipps Street on the water side, that's controlled by the DCR Parkway Division. We don't have jurisdiction to do those improvements for safety. We've talked about it. That's where the genesis of this, it's talked about safety, better traffic and pedestrian safety, better for the businesses in that area because the businesses were cut off. All this was part of planning that went back to 2008, 2010, 2012 with mass development. All that planning, that's where the NBOD zoning came through. All that led up to where we were. 2015, when somebody talked about you were going to bring a road across Edgewater Road and it was gonna happen in 2015. If you remember correctly, in 2015, 2016, we weren't putting out an urban renewal plan. An urban renewal plan, we decided to do that to get citizen feedback and get buy-in. Before that, we were going straight out to an RFP on the property. And so as part of that RFP process, we did feel that that cut across would go all the way out to Hull Shore Drive Extension. And it was just an RFP to redevelop the HRA. We put out the RFP, one time we put it out, in bad economy, we didn't get any responses. The next time we put it out, we got 2 responses. One of them was for 500,000 square feet of commercial space with 7-story buildings. The HRA said, no, we don't want to see that. That's going to be overwhelming for the town. Then the other one was for townhouse condos, and the developer that proposed that, he proposed a development for 68 units. And then when we get into talking with the developer, he said, well, I only want to do half of it. He changed his bid in the middle of it. You can't do that in an RFP. And at that point, we were talking about the 2-way roads. It was on the table. We were going through that planning process. The end body had been put in place. And at that point, that's when we started applying for Mass Works grants and moving in the direction that we moved to doing a URP. And the URP was to get citizen input, to get buy-in, and find a happy medium. Something that fits, that brings the housing, brings the development, creates the open space, and gets the work done, and bring federal and state dollars to help do it. And that's where we ended up, and that's why we got $1.4 million in grants to do this. So the idea is come up with a plan that's workable, use the federal and state dollars to do it, and if we have a development on the table, we can move that roadway changes faster through Mass Works, because as part of economic development, Mass Works grants are available. As part of a TIPS project, it's a longer horizon on the roadway changes. Now with the DCR doing their capital planning and their plan, if it dovetails with their plan for resiliency, we'd be crazy not to build it into the design while we have design money from the federal government and everything on the table now. This is where we're at.
So I understand you are on the side of doing this board development. What do the other board members feel?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, in terms of if there's 2 schools of thought, I mean, I'm for safety and challenge accepted in terms of learning why hasn't some of these things that you've mentioned been done. And I owe it, I owe it to everybody in town for the safety piece.
Yeah, I have to agree with Susan on this. Like, if this is so important, which assuming it is, and in assuming it is so unsafe as we're talking about, why there are a million little things that we could be doing,
Yes.
and we could be pushing the state to do, even though they're state roads, by saying like, hey, this is urgent, this is safety. So if that is actually, which I have my own opinions on that, but if it is safety that is the impetus for all of this, you keep saying it's been 15 years. Why haven't we tried any of the little things or pushed the state to try any of the little things? You go to other beachfront towns that have streets like ours. I was just at one, Hampton Beach, I think it is. I'd never go to these places. I live here. But they have big, sidewalks with like flashing lights and raised sidewalks and stuff like that. I understand it's not our road, but if it is such an urgent safety issue, why are we not continually pressing the DCR, the state, whoever is in charge, to say, hey, this is safety, we need this. I don't understand why we would push for the most expensive option, redoing our entire street system, when there are all kinds of smaller, cheaper options to do to try to work on this safety problem. So Charlie, I hope I'm leaving, but I hope I'll be paying attention even though I'm gone. But I hope you will actually take a look at some of these. I have a zillion ideas on how we could improve the flow of traffic and the safety without spending, $8 million? Is that what we were saying it was gonna cost? Without spending $8 million.
It's a moving target.
It is a moving target. It used to be 6. That's what I was saying 8.
Inflation.
That's what I was saying 8. So I would encourage everyone to think about creative solutions and to say, if this is such a safety issue, why aren't we pushing for those now, not waiting 5 to 10 years? Safety.
So just to respond to that, the 2-way road design and the work that we're doing in the Mass Works grants that we lined up and the federal dollars that we lined up, we are working to do that. You're not going to be able to just go and take a state highway and put raised sidewalks in just because you say, oh, it's a safety issue, we should put raised sidewalks in. They're looking at the whole area to redesign it. And there's all kinds of infrastructure that needs to be done there. Hull Shore Drive Extension, just on the HRA alone, we've got 1,600 feet of sidewalk that's crumbling, that's ours. That'll be our responsibility unless we get the funds. That's curbing,
Yeah, I know.
repaving, all of it. So, I mean, it's not like we haven't been trying.
Well, but
And
I
we-
know, but how long are you willing to wait? I guess
Wait,
is the
wait.
question.
Have, you're not the hotel, but I mean, you're defending the hotel, so you're like.
Well, I've been working at it.
Okay, so why didn't we ask the DCR to address some of the safety issues in the last 10 years, knowing that it's going to be 10 years for this plan to get put in place? Some of these safety issues are really serious and so little cost. That may be putting in the sleeping policeman, whatever you call the speed bumps, but bigger blinking sign where you drive right into oncoming traffic. Things like that we have refused to address, and it seems like the only reason we're not addressing them is because we are trying to go and hold this two-way road to solve those. Where the two-way road may have merits on its own, we could still address those things, we should address those things, but it doesn't have to be linked to the two-way road. And if we're afraid to do them because suddenly the two-way road doesn't look as attractive, then shame on us.
So,
I mean,
we're gonna sit here and argue semantics about this all night long, but the bottom line is the DCR paid for half the traffic study that was the beginning of this. That's what we've been doing. And so, we had a pause for the last 3 years on moving the urban renewal plan forward, and we had money on the table from the Mass Works grant program to do it. And if the urban renewal plan was put in place and we were moving forward with it, that would have moved along. We were doing that. We've been in a pause for 3 years, and everybody said, let's pause and wait and see what we're gonna do. You can't just go throw raised sidewalks, raised crosswalks in there without doing traffic studies, getting the State Department of Transportation involved, all that stuff. You can put barrels out there with blinking lights in the crosswalks, state police to slow them down. That's not gonna prevent somebody from pulling out at Water Street and taking a right into oncoming traffic, or pulling out at Water Street into Nantasket Ave and taking a right onto Nantasket Ave, or pulling down to Mesomarre and taking a right and turning into oncoming traffic coming off the boulevard. Those are the issues.
yeah, but
And
none
so-
of those issues have anything to do with having the two-way roads
I disagree.
go down the whole Shore Drive extension.
Yes.
None of those things that you say have any effect on the HRA plan. But the thing you are proposing affects what decisions we will be able to make in the future. And I know that the people on the other end of this table are tired of this conversation, so I stopped.
And like I said,
We're not closing
we can go back and forth all night long.
conversation.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, there's a difference of opinion. Obviously, we've got a meeting coming up with the DCR. We'll go to that meeting and we'll work through
We'll
it.
gather
We'll work through it.
information, we will gather information.
Lisa, go ahead.
This is French Boyce, I'm in Rockford. I just want to bring up one other issue. Some people have brought it up before. I have read things from the DCR. They take their responsibilities very seriously. Their mission is to make public spaces available to the public. I do really trust, they don't have any other motive. They're not trying to make money off of something. They want to make public spaces available, accessible to the public. That's why the DCR wants to be sure that people can come to the beach in Hull, because it is a state reservation, it is Nantasket, beach. They want to make sure that visitors can come to Hull, that residents can go over to the beach, and that visitors can come and go to the public beach there. The HRA owns a small little area of sand, a small part of it, but the bigger stretch there, it's the state public beach, and the DCR wants to make sure that there's parking somewhere there so that people can actually get to the beach. I believe I have read, I could be wrong, but I think that I have read things where the DCR looked at the plan to build a residential area on the HRA with a hotel. And when that was there with those cross streets and parking for hotel people and for residents on the streets in between, so almost no parking for beachgoers, for the public, almost no public parking for the beach, because this whole area would be all built up. The DCR did not think that was a good idea, because basically that was like privatizing the beach. Of course they don't support that. At the reservation, their goal is to keep that beach accessible to everybody who wants to go there. So the idea of building a whole community, a private community of housing and hotel, and with limited parking for those people means less parking for beachgoers. And the DCR does not think that's a good thing, because you read everything, read the mission, you know? Read the mission. So
That's on DCR property. This is HRA.
I'm talking about the HRA's land adjacent to the beach right there, and Hull Shore Drive Extension, which is a DCR road. The DCR's got the road, got the beach, wants to make sure that people can go there to enjoy the beach. So I think it's something to think about for everyone. I think it's something to think about in making decisions about changing roadways even, or what you do on the HRA. I don't, it's funny, I don't think this is, I don't know. I don't think this has been said that much. It's so funny. I don't think this is something that has been said over and over again. I think it's important. I think the DCR is important. I think the public beach is important. I really think it's worth considering. People who are on the HRA board should really be considering that. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further comment?
Next meeting is
Next Monday.
Next week,
Monday?
do we want to set our
Is it the
other April
6th?
meeting?
Oh, so,
It's the Monday, 6th?
Monday, April
Remember, I'm
6th.
not here next week,
Yeah.
two of us are.
Two
We
weeks.
already talked about the
And
fact,
so
we got
next
three
week
people, you
we're-
can get stuff done.
Next week, we're just going to do the parking
Yep.
RFPs. Did you want to do the landscaping thing?
Why don't we hold, let's wait till the following meeting.
Okay. Well, the
Just deal with
fall, do we want to do the following meeting?
What's the fall, no,
Actually,
what's
I'm
the
not-
following week?
It's the 13th, I'm actually not available.
I'm not available the week after that, it'll have to be the end of April, unless you
Well,
guys
we
can meet
can
without.
do the
The
27th.
landscaper, speaking of landscaper, what do we gotta do? Couldn't you guys approve my application, with the format so that, Mark can move forward?
I'm happy to do that
Yeah,
as
we
long
can do
as
that.
Charlie and
Right.
Dan are fine with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, why,
Yeah, we can do that.
what do we?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so next week we'll do the parking RFPs and the landscaping solicitation of service, and then we'll put the 27th on the list? Because the 20th is a
work for everybody?
holiday, right?
All right.
Yeah.
for the next meet.
Well, next week's meeting, and then the 27th would be the one.
That works for me.
Are those in person or remote?
Next week is in person,
The 27th remote?
27th we can do remote.
Cool.
Excellent.
One last, while I'm going, so, is someone going to check and see if the public will have access to the working meeting?
I will find out tomorrow.
And how-
Maggie's gonna get in touch with me tomorrow, and I will let her know, and then we'll.
Super, thank you.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
I'm moved to adjourn?
Is there a motion?
That's me, I'm moving. I'm
You're
moved to
moving?
adjourn. Are you making a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Adrian, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded all around, seconded by Dan. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Adjourned at 9:09.